Hey guys, welcome to In My Travels. Little surprise today, special host. My name is Milon Treasure. For those of you who have not met me, I actually do pop in every now and then on In My Travels, and I actually do a segment called Messy Moments with Mimi. Well, today is going to be one big messy moment with Mimi because you're going to have me for the whole show. So let's get to it. So let's talk about George Lopez. This past week, there was a whole situation with George Lopez. George Lopez, he's a comedian, one of the best. He actually has been doing stand-up routines and whatnot for years and years and years. So I am more than sure that George Lopez knows how to handle hecklers and things of that nature when they come his way. Well, this little situation was at one of his shows, and a woman did, it wasn't really so much of heckling. He made a joke, and the joke had to do with Latinos versus blacks as far as families and what's expected and pretty much some stereotypes. And he basically went in to say, what you know is that you don't procreate black, you don't bring black home, and you don't park cars in front of their houses. And, everybody laughed except for this one woman. She was offended by this. She gave him the finger a couple times, and she became just a little disruptive. Not anything really, really too big from what I actually saw in her. She wasn't complete. I've seen people be completely disruptive at a comedy show. This wasn't one of those times. Well, George, instead of actually acting out in a comedic way, he basically cursed her out. He called her a bitch and told her, to sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up. And he got a little belligerent with her. And then he told her, you have the choice. You can sit down and shut up, or you can leave. And then he said, well, let me make the choice for you. And he literally had her escorted out of the show. Now, I'm going to give you all a chance. You all go down in those comments and you tell me, do you think that George went too far? I'm going to tell you, I think he went a little too far. I really do. I didn't think it warranted all that. It didn't warrant her to be put out of the show. I didn't even like the fact that he actually called her a bitch. That was kind of going really too far as I'm concerned. The professionalism was completely gone because it became like a street show at that point. So I don't know where George's head was to actually even go there. But again, I think a lot of that attributes to the climate that we're actually in right now. People are so touchy when they really shouldn't be. I mean, come on. When you go out to a comedy show, your mood should actually be light anyway, because most jokes that are told at a live comedy show are off-color jokes. So, come on. So I think she was a little too much in her feelings. George was a little too much in his feelings as well. But I would love to know what you guys think. Leave it down in the comments. Do you think that George Lopez went too far? Let's talk Nicki Minaj. I think Nicki's beautiful. She's a beautiful girl. She's very, very talented and all of that. Nicki has some other stuff that goes on too. Nicki's busy. Nicki's a little attitude. No, Nicki's been known to be a little hard to work with. Nicki's name keeps popping up in the news here this past week or two. Nicki, her house was robbed. That was the craziest thing in the world. Her house was robbed, and then people were actually pointing a finger at Meek Mills. Because the way in which her house was burglarized was, they are saying it was very much personal. It's like damages and losses of over $200,000 in jewelry and different things. But there were things in the house that were just ransacked and literally just torn up. And that's all of a very personal nature. So not a good look. Really not a good look. And then there was this whole thing with her and Giuseppe. Now, Giuseppe has a line of his shoes that are like tennis shoes, and they calls them the Nicki. And there was never a formal deal done with Giuseppe and Nicki Minaj. And she actually came to him and was saying, she wanted to do something shoe wise with him. And it was met with deaf ears. There was no, they weren't taking phone calls, this, that, thing, and the other. Nicki got a little offended. Nicki allegedly told the Barbs to attack, honey. And it really isn't that much alleged because it was actually done on Twitter, honey. Nicki had the Barbs attack Giuseppe and that whole thing. So there's a whole big mess with that going on. I don't have too much more information on it, but again, ear to the ground, and I'll be getting back with you guys about that. Messy, 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 messy Miss Nicki. And I said, ciao. Mimi has messy moments, but I don't have nearly as many messy moments as Miss Nicki, child. But anyway, we'll see what actually works out with that whole thing. I can't imagine the whole burglary thing. Girl, you should have so many cameras and whatnot at your house that nothing like this should ever even have gone. It should never even got to us. So I don't know what that whole burglary thing is. But that thing with Giuseppe, girl, that needs to be handled in a courtroom and somewhere behind the scenes. That does not need to be handled on social media. The Barbs don't need to be attacking Giuseppe. Girl, that's business. Business. And having the Barbs get involved, not a good look. All right, we'll see what happens. So it seems Trey Songz is going to be the next Flavor Flav. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. I don't know what this is all about, but Tremaine has actually been giving a dating show, and it really is all based upon the same things as the whole Flavor of Love situation. Are we going backwards? Like reality TV going backwards? What the hell is really going on? And then really Trey Songz. You all go down in them comments. I don't even have any more to say about this because I don't actually have a date just yet of when it's actually going to air. But you all go ahead on down there in them comments and tell me, what do you all think? I'll definitely be watching. Two, I don't know if this is a good look for Trey or not. I just don't. I don't know, baby. You're not Ray J. And it kind of worked for Ray J. But the thing with Ray J, it was timing. It was timing is the only reason why I work for Ray J. That time is come and gone. So and Tremaine's mouth is a bit much. See, Ray J plays tough guy, but Ray J knows when to and when not to. If you sat Ray J down and told Ray J to do the news, that little bastard could do the news. Tremaine, not so much. Tremaine got a nasty little mouth, and he has a bit of an attitude as well. Cute, and I like the little guy's music, but he's a bit much to handle at times. I just don't think this is going to be a good look for him, but I'll be watching. We'll see. Beyonce's in the news, guys. She's actually being sued. Can you believe this? I don't know. I want to say I don't believe that this is something that she orchestrated, but in the song Formation, there is some passages that are actually there where I always thought it was actually Big Frida actually doing it. Well, it turns out that all of that's not Big Frida. There are some pieces in there that is actually Messy Maya. Messy Maya was actually a big YouTuber back in the day, and she was getting really, I say she, it's a male. He's a homosexual male, but he was murdered. He's from New Orleans. He was murdered. It was very unfortunate. Very young person, but was beginning to be very popular, okay, when that happened. And some kind of way, Messy Maya's voice and likeness was used in the song and video for Formation. And now the family and the estate actually want their just due. And they are actually suing Beyonce. I believe, I want to say it was $20 million. I don't know how this is actually going to turn out. I think somebody dropped the ball here. I don't see Beyonce knowingly doing that. I just don't see. I can't put that on her like that. But it has happened, and I'm more than sure she's going to make it right. This is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I'll definitely be keeping my ear to the ground to try to see what actually goes on with this. But by all means, if Messy Maya was actually used, Messy Maya's estate needs to be paid. It just is what it is. Right is right and wrong is wrong. So I'll be keeping my eye out to see what's going on with that. All right, guys. A little birdie told me that Matthew Knowles opened his big mouth and made a little slip and actually let go of the information that Beyonce will actually be performing at the Grammys. He was actually being interviewed for something completely different and literally slipped and just told that whole thing. So I said, I'm sure the Beehive probably had two emotions immediately. They probably got really pissed with Matthew, and then they were really, really happy at the same time. So everything is going to be fine. Congratulations on the pregnancy. Good luck on the whole situation with Messy Maya and the formation thing. And girl, we can't wait to see you at the Grammys. Hey, how many of you actually seen the Super Bowl halftime show? So funny that there's actually been a lot of mixed reviews when it comes to this whole Super Bowl thing. And then there's even been some body shaming going on. Shame on you all. There's been mixed reviews as to some folks liked Gaga's performance, some folks didn't like Gaga's performance. And it was like, well, I mean, that's cool. But the thing is, I don't think Gaga was given a fair chance. Gaga was given a lot of comparison. I kept hearing comparison to Michael Jackson, comparison to Janet Jackson, comparison to Beyonce, comparison to Madonna. That's not what it's all about. The halftime show is you and fully you. It's not about a comparison. You're supposed to be doing you. You're not supposed to be comparing yourself or competing with what someone else has done in the past. And I think that's what happened to Gaga. So once they went through that, then I started seeing people doing the body shaming, and they were saying that she had a pudge and that her stomach was hanging over her shorts. Look at this picture. Now, are you serious? Are you serious? Now, I can show you some pictures of some bitches with their stomach hanging over their shorts. Baby, that ain't it. You all are just really going too far. I think Gaga did a good job. And then there were these newly woke folks, who do videos. They're woke and they were screaming and yelling and they were upset because she wasn't political enough. She didn't take enough of a stance when it comes to this thing, that thing, or the other thing when it comes to Donald Trump. Well, first of all, we all heard before it even got started that Gaga was already talked to by the powers that be about having her performance not to be very politically driven and not to cause a stake within the country. I heard that. So allegedly there were already conversations and talks about her not going that route. Okay, so that's that. But I don't understand exactly what it is that they thought she was supposed to do. I mean, what is it that you think she's supposed to do? Gaga's whole standpoint is kind of political. The fact that they chose her was a risk. The only person I think riskier would be Kanye. And that's a whole nother story about his crazy wife wanting him to do the halftime show next year. Honey, no Kanye on the Super Bowl. No Kanye. Nobody has time for him and his backpedaling and pussy popping, honey. Anyway. But I think the body shaming and all of that and the comparisons for Gaga, I think that's just ridiculous. You guys leave your comments and leave your thoughts down there in the comments. I just thought it was ridiculous. I think that she wasn't given a fair chance. I thought she did a good job. I really enjoyed it. But again, I am a Gaga fan. So, I thought it was political enough. I thought she had enough of that in there. Um, like I said, these newly woke activists, I don't think it's ever enough. I don't think it's ever enough for them. In their eyes, no one is out there enough for them. That's kind of what I'm seeing. But this is just me watching from out of my eyes. This is what I'm seeing. Nothing's political enough. No one's black enough. Nobody's taking a big enough stand. Only thing I can tell you, baby, is keep doing what it is that you're doing. Keep doing what it is that you're doing. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Do what you're doing. That's it. But anyway, on to the next thing. Yes, and one other little thing about Gaga before I actually leave out of here is a little bit of tea. I heard through the grapevine that Gaga is actually going to be featured on the first episode of the new RuPaul's Drag Race for season 9. There are 13 contestants. I don't actually have the date of when it's actually going to air, but they have the 13 contestants. They've already been announced, and there's going to be a special guest spot done by Gaga on the first episode. So, all you Gaga fans, make sure you're tuned in. I'll definitely be coming back in and letting you guys know when that day is. All right, guys.